We are seeing in real time a disaster being engineered on multiple fronts. Now, what's top of mind is the airline crashes that have happened since Inauguration Day. Since Trump has been inaugurated, there have been 4 plane crashes in the US. When you put that into perspective, it is a stark departure from what's been recent history. When you look at the history of commercial airline crashes in the US, we haven't had a major crash since 2009. In light of all of these crashes, the reason that the Trump administration has cited for why these are occurring is, of course, DEI. And you would expect that from an administration that is unqualified and unknowledgeable about so many different topics that they would point to the boogeyman of the day and cite DEI. Here's the real reason why these disasters happened. Soon after Trump's inauguration, he started the process of hacking away at an already thin FAA, getting rid of their director and getting rid of key safety personnel, as well as eliminating a number of other rank and file roles. You have an agency that is responsible for keeping our skies safe, that has been threatened with losing their job, that have seen their leadership and safety commissions disbanded. You would expect their morale to be low. And this is all preventable disasters that could have been avoided were it not for the rank incompetence of the Trump administration. And shocker, after those actions, disaster starts happening. This is one example of a systematic engineering of chaos and destruction in the US by the Trump administration. They're doing similar things across all federal agencies because what they are hoping to accomplish is a big enough disaster where they can say, see, we told you government doesn't work. We need to scrap the whole thing and start over with our version of how things need to be. That is the game that's being played right now. And this is straight out of the Republican playbook for the last 40 or 50 years. They've conditioned you to think that government is the enemy. They've conditioned you to think that government is incompetent. All the while, they work behind the scenes to remove funding, strip funding, fire people, eliminate training, eliminate anything that would help government run efficiently. They run it like a business. You know how businesses run with an eye towards maximizing profitability. And one of the key ways that you can maximize profitability is to cut corners on safety and also short staff your team. When you do both of those things, cut corners on safety and control your personnel costs, you run big profits. And if a disaster happens, call it the cost of doing business. That is what's happening right now. The Trump administration is hacking away at all of the different safety agencies and regulatory agencies across all layers of the government, blaming DEI in the process in an effort to run as lean as possible and finance a billionaire tax cut. And who cares if a couple hundred or a couple thousand or a couple million of you regular schlubs drop dead in the process? That's not our problem. You saw this happen the first go around with his mismanagement of the pandemic. You're seeing it happen now. There's a reason why all sorts of information is being scrubbed and hidden, because they are engineering a disaster and it's our lives on the line. So what do we do about it? The sooner we recognize that we are just pawns in their giant tax cut game and we're all expendable and disposable, the better off we're going to be, because that's going to be the realization that unites all of us against a common enemy. And the common enemy is the billionaire class that's pulling the strings out of DC and Silicon Valley.